Hey everyone, this is game 4 from the candidates match between Vasily Smyslov and Garry Kasparov that took place in 1984. Games 1 and 2 were drawn, and on game 3, Kasparov finally cracked the code, so to speak, and won a nice positional game um, in game 3. So here Smyslov has the white pieces and Kasparov the black pieces. Now Smyslov again, 62 years old, and made his way back into the candidates. So don't give up on your chess. You know, this guy had been just playing for the world championship in the 50s, and here he is in 1984, just one match away from playing Anatoly Karpov. So here it is. Smyslov with the white pieces d4, Kasparov playing d5 with black. And there we have it. Queen's Gambit decline. Bishop f4 variation. Castles e3. And c5. Of course, this is right up Kasparov's alley, who was playing tarrasch defense at the time. So, of course, Bishop f4 is kind of attempt to leave those waters alone. Smyslov was well prepared, obviously, and again, it seemed like he was adopting a strategy to try to limit the tactical explosiveness of Kasparov by playing these type of positions. So D takes c5, B takes c5, Bishop e2, D takes c4, Bishop takes c4. Notice again the symmetry of the position. This is all Smyslov right here. Again, he doesn't want anything looking, out of balance, and is basically trying to keep the position as dry as possible, and hopefully, his vast experience can come into play. A6, preparing b5. Kasparov is about dynamics, especially at this time in his career. He's gonna play b5 and put his bishop on b7. Queen e2, b5, and this is always like, a downside of playing like this is white. If you let your opponent do what he wants to do, then he's just gonna equalize, and then you're gonna be in danger of becoming worse. All right, sometimes you have to take some chances. Easier said, right? Then done. It's bishop b7. Bishops are aggressively placed, and we could say here, for all intents and purposes, black is already equalized. Knight d7, e4, knight h5. Only advantage we can give white here is that slight space advantage due to the e4, but that's like a negligible advantage because black's pieces are well placed. He's fully developed and has full compensation for any type of slight space advantage that white has by having the pawn on e4. Okay, bishop d2, queen c7. Now the rooks are connected. G3, and now already I can see black pulling ahead as white has weakened his king side some, and is clearly nervous about the storm that's brewing over on this king side. All right, I mean already this idea of knight takes, right? Knight takes g3, h takes g3, queen g3, king h1. I was thinking of f5 first, but maybe just knight e5, right, with this double attack here. It was a very dangerous position already. Now Kasparov didn't choose that, but this is just giving you the flavor of what's going on, right? He's got all his pieces ready for action. And then maybe even here, maybe knight c5 or f5. Like f5 because the king is on the diagonal with this bishop right here. But it looks promising, in other words. Okay, so already at 15 moves, we're already looking at moves. Knight takes, knight takes g3 in a position. So with that said, I can bet that g3 is an error. It's got to be, because what are the benefits here, right? what are the benefits to white? There are none. It's not like he can even put his dark square bishop on f4 and harass the queen because the knight is ready to snap it off. So it just amounts to a net weakening and allows the tactical blow. Knight takes g3, h takes, queen takes. Okay? So, mistake. Now, Kasparov doesn't jump on it right away. He just plays rook a d8. Develops another piece. And then Smylov goes in for the trade. Bishop takes e3. Queen takes e3. And now queen c5 by Kasparov. Okay, offering to go into a better ending. Rook fe1. Okay, so we can see that white's space, right, on with the pawn on e4 is kind of balanced by black's space on the queen side. But again, black's pieces are better placed here. White's bishop on d3 looks particularly suspicious at this point. Black's piece have more harmony and coordination, in my view. Knight h f6, a3, and now knight g4 harassing the queen. Again, now we have another endgame. So what's interesting is you would expect Kasparov to be trying to avoid the endings, going against this endgame virtuoso and Smylov. But again, we're not talking about the Smylov of 1958. We're talking about Smylov in 1984. Okay, and then Kasparov in his own right, he's just playing the best positions that he can come up with. So bishop c2, f5, exploiting the knight on f3. So after f5, exploiting the poor condition of this knight here, right, being unprotected, we can definitely see that black has a clear advantage. Okay, black is very aggressive. All his pieces are attacking in the position and in their optimal locations. And white is just in serious trouble, especially g3 kind of set everything off. Right, and now we can see white is now paying for these weaknesses. So knight g5, f4, and Kasparov is just simply going to open up the f file for his rook. Rook a d1, rook takes d1, bishop takes d1. Now, Smylov could have played rook takes d1, and that's like the more natural looking move, but it seems like he didn't want to take any protection off of this e-pawn, but it seems like it should have worked out. No, h6, kicking this guy away, knight h3, f takes, h takes, and maybe, knight e5. And black is still better, but I don't see anything wrong with the natural looking rook d1. He took with the bishop. Bishop attacks this knight. Okay. But it's not a real attack in my book because the knight just goes to a beautiful square. So if you attack a piece and send it to a better location or another attacking post, you can't really consider that as a win. Matter of fact, the bishop on d1 is now worse in its placement than it was before. So g takes f4, and now knight e d3. Now, those of you familiar with the famous octopus game, I think it was game 16, 1985. I almost said 15, but I think it's game 16, 1985, a world championship match between, actually, next year from this, between Karpov and Kasparov. There's a famous, check that game out if you want to see Kasparov and his knights on d3. b4. And here's the instructive point in the game. Kasparov plays h6. Now, of course, inquiring minds want to know, What's wrong with knight takes e1? There's nothing wrong with knight takes e1. But you have to understand how masters think to understand this type of move. Um, I'm just giving you, sample variation here to show you that there was nothing wrong with just picking up the exchange. Okay, but again, in the comfort, of home, it's easy to analyze and say, oh, he should have took that. Now, remember Kasparov, if you didn't know, is a student of Botvinnik, and it's a saying that's kind of general. Is that basically if you have the chance to get a material advantage or positional advantage, um, you know, take the positional advantage. Um, the reason is if the material advantage is unclear, that is. Um, in this case, perhaps getting the exchange right, knight takes e1. Um, getting the exchange, but then giving white the 2 pawns, it might not have been that clear to Kasparov. You see, like this type of position, like yeah, if you're analyzing at home, you can see okay, black is still good, black is winning, but him looking in his mind's eye at the variations, you know, going into something that might not be, he has an exchange, but it's kind of hazy. You got, past C pawn and E pawn, running up the board. You might pass on that. Now, after he plays the move H6, rather, I'm sorry, H6, B takes C5, H takes G5, threat still remains, so the rook has to move. Boom, knight takes F4. Now look at the position. Clear positional advantage. You see, there's no haziness here. It's clear positional advantage. Black is good. So the material is equal, but he has a clear positional advantage. So if you have the choice to choose a hazy position with the material advantage, or choose one with material being equal but clear positional advantage, you take the positional advantage every time. And this is what Kasparov did. All right, so it's not like he didn't see the rook or something, something like that. It's just that he looked at the two variations and saw, you know what, I'm gonna go with the clear positional advantage. My knight on F4 is, pretty much unassailable. Game continued. A4, B4, kicking the knight back, knight E2. This is what, of course, Smyslov is banking on, right? Just get rid of the knight. But now, once you move that knight to E2, then you remove the protection of the C5 pawn. Bishop B3, desperately trying to counterattack. Rook takes C5, knight takes F4, G takes F4, hitting the rook again. Bishop E6, King F8. Now Rook E1, Rook E5, putting pressure on the E pawn and the bishop, so one of them's got to go. Bishop B3, Rook takes E4, and that's all Kasparov needs is one clear pawn to win. That's that B pawn. Rook D1, King E7. This keeps the rook from penetrating to the 7th rank. Again, another attempt by Smyslov. He wants to go to the 7th rank. King F6. Problem is now that he still wants to go to the 7th rank, but the problem is there wouldn't be any check there, and without the check, you get mated by Rook E1. Because of the powerful bishop on B7. Therefore, Smyslov has to play King F1. It's king safety. A5, just solidifying the positional advantage. You see, this position right here is how you rack up your points in tournaments. You got to win these type of positions right here. It's a clear win here. Right? You got to pass pawn. You don't have to do nothing spectacular at this point. Okay, you just you just improve the position. H3, G5. So he gets to the 7th rank. Big deal. Rook E7. He offers a trade of rooks. Rook E7, Rook C5, Rook E5, and Smyslov at this point resigned. Okay. Of course, that's just by the way, those repetition of moves is just to make time control. Soon as the time control is made, dudes retired. Dudes had enough. Let me save that. I'm making some notes on the fly. Um, so again, another positional win from Kasparov with the black pieces. Um, let's say, just for argument's sake, because some of you are like, well, what if you repeated the position again? If you play rook c7, there's several moves that can be played here. I like moves like this, restrictive moves, right? The king is in danger. The opponent has to constantly think about the back rank. Okay, so, and then let's say he checks, because people in desperate positions always like to check. Right, so king g6, and trying to give him some more moves. Let's go back here. Rook c7. Right, king f5. Again, what else, right? Check. King just walks on in. Okay. Rook c7. I'm just trying to give you an example of how you could win something, win a position like this. King d3. Let's make another, bizarre move. King c3, and that's one way. You could just walk in, assist, remove the blockader, right? Right? Visualize what you want to do. You want to do that. So you realize, okay, there's a bishop there. Start attacking the bishop. Notice the rook is cutting the king off. Let's say bishop there, there. Oh, can't do that. So that's a blunder. Alright, so we have to go back. B2, B8. And again, even in this simple position, what would be your objective? You want B2. So therefore, B1. So to get that, you have to cut off the rook. Alright, so you just try to figure out, how you could do that. Right? One method you can do without cutting the rook off is just threaten the queen in c2. Then you could defend, say, with like bishop a2, or you could play bishop c6. This was my first thought, is just cutting the rook off. Right? And let's say bishop g6. Okay? Then you play that. And let's say king g2. Check. F3. And then here's where you cut the rook off right here. You could play that move, cutting the rook off. And let's say if he goes here, right, trying to block everything, then you could start moving this pawn. Right? You could do that. Rook e2. This again, it's you just keep just pushing forward methodically in the position. But of course the GMs, those guys see this stuff already. Because I mean, if I saw that it was over, I know, Smylov and Kasparov saw that it was over. So after, where did he resign? He resigned early, early in the. Yeah, he resigned right after time control at the 41 rook e5. So now after 4 games, the young Kasparov is showing that he is a man of destiny, a man on a mission, and he's pulled up 2-0. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.